Hello comrades, and welcome to another film review. Today we'll be going through the 1999 animated film, The Iron Giant, which was directed by Brad Bird and was based on the 1968 novel, Iron Man, written by Ted Hughes. The name was changed from Iron Man to Giant to avoid confusion with Marvel's Iron Man. The animated film has a cast of Vin Diesel that voices the Giant, Eli Marienthal as Hogarth Hughes, Jennifer Aniston from Friends as Anna Hughes, Harry Connick Jr. as Dean McCoppin, Christopher McDonald as Kent Mansley, and John Mahoney as General Rogard. The main plot of the film is about an alien giant robot that crashes into the 1957 Earth town of Rockwell, off the coast of Maine, during a great time of worry and paranoia over the Cold War. During the crash, it has lost its memory, shown by the large dent on its head. That is until it meets Hogarth, a child that befriends it and teaches how to speak as well as about Earth. They go to a scrapyard owner called Dean, who helps them as well. Eventually, a government agent is sent to investigate sightings of the giant and what it is, believing it is a threat and should be destroyed. The film has a few emotional and impactful moments. There's important moral dilemmas hidden in different heartfelt and comedic scenes. The film had a lot of changes since the writer made the story. Originally it was expected to be a musical that starred Pete Townshend from The Who, but the musical changed to a film in 1996 when Brad Bird was put as director and hired Tim McInnes to write a screenplay. The film was very different from the novel, as it was based in London, where the giant was going to fight a dragon from space. Even the character Agent Kent Mansley was completely new. During the making of the film, many characters and scenes were taken out or changed during production. Despite all this though, they managed to complete the project under staff and half the cost and time of other animated films by utilising animation with computer-generated imagery. The film also contains many secrets and moral lessons, from the more well-known one of the Sputnik satellite that flies past in space as the giant crashes, which represents paranoia and distrust alongside its beeping that comes back at the end of the film. This time to potentially show hope and prosperity as time passes and after good communication and connection. The film also has less easy to see secrets, like the reference of A113 on the back of a half-eaten car and the character's Dean's workshop. This number was the classroom number that Brad Bird learnt to draw in and has reference in other films, as well as a small toy that could be Bugs Bunny in Hogarth's drawer at the start of the film. This may have been because the team didn't want the traditional opening that Bugs Bunny is in. You can see the bunny here potentially at the bottom of the screen. We of course also have the popular moral question of what if a gun had a soul and didn't want to be a gun, which the director Brad Bird often referenced, and Hogarth saying, "You are what you choose to be." These lines have strong memories of Bird's sister, who sadly died to gun violence in 1989. The film tries to teach people that they don't have to choose violence. With that all said, I believe this is a great film and is a must watch. The Iron Giant is one of the all-time favourites of mine and has a story of people of all ages that can enjoy it and learn new things from it. You can watch it as part of Amazon Prime or Netflix if you have those, or you can also rent it on those platforms as well as Google Play or YouTube. All these clips and references used in these videos are used with belief of them being under the fair use laws. So from this point on, spoiler warning. We start with the film with a beeping noise as the introduction of the film title, and the company fades out. Then to the source of the beeping, which is the Sputnik satellite that's flying past us, with Earth in the background. It lets us see there is a giant storm there. Suddenly, a meteor-like object flies past us, heading towards the eye of the storm, dragging us behind it. Once we get into the storm, we meet our first character, the fisherman and sailor, Earl Strutz, who is lost in the storm and crashes into what he thought was a lighthouse, just to discover that it has two eyes and is actually the Iron Giant. After Earl washes up to the actual lighthouse, we get transported to the now daytime and sunny town of Rockwell, where we meet our protagonist, Ted Hughes, where he loses his new pet squirrel that he wanted to show his mother, Annie, who works often late at the local diner. While sneakily trying to find the squirrel, he meets Dean the Coppin, who overhears the sighting of the Iron Giant from the sailor Earl, but despite Dean trying to help, Earl is not believed and is laughed at by other people. The squirrel ends up finding and going up Dean's trousers. He quickly can't hold his new close neighbour anymore and reveals the secret to everyone. After some time, Hogarth is home alone at night until he has problems with his television, discovering that the antenna has been eaten and a chaotic trail into the forest has been left behind. Hogarth follows the trail and finds the Iron Giant being electrocuted at the power station. Hogarth saves the giant, which soon after disappears. In school, Hogarth thinks about the giant, whilst his classmates talks about rumours of it. We also have a more Cold War references and worries as a bomb duck and cover video is playing in the background. Meanwhile, Dean finds that the sailor Earl has called for a government agent to investigate and find the giant. After school, Hogarth eventually finds the giant again and befriends it. After they talk for some while, Hogarth discovers the giant can't really speak yet, and he tries to teach the difference between rocks and trees, teaching it how to speak. After trying to follow Hogarth home, the giant crashes into a train where we can find that it can repair itself. After they leave, the agent known as Kent Mansley talks to the train staff, which is actually voice and cameraed of Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, which Brad Bird has done with them in other films. Agent Mansley goes to the nearby home for a phone, which also happens to be the Hughes' house, and where the giant is hiding in a nearby barn. However, the giant has lost his hand, and whilst Mansley calls General Rogard about the situation, he is disregarded until he can get proof of the giant. Meanwhile, Hogarth struggles to get the giant's hand out of the house, and a funny scene of them all in the bathroom occurs, with Hogarth narrowly being able to succeed and hiding his actions by pretending to go to the toilet, with Agent Mansley getting caught by the door as he and his mother checks on Hogarth. After Mansley leaves, the Iron Giant and Hogarth goes out to find somewhere they can eat and hide. They eventually discover Dean's junkyard as the perfect place, but Dean quickly discovers them after the giant sets off a car alarm, as you can see here. After being afraid at first, Dean eventually befriends and allows them to stay, after teaching the giant about his art. We also have part of this scene where Hogarth is hyper with coffee that Dean gave him. This was actually done by Brad Bird himself, as there are so many quick movements that were of his own style and drawing. After a trip in the woods, the giant sees hunters kill a deer and learns about guns and killing. Hogarth teaches the giant about death and that guns are bad, guns kill, as well as the potential of souls that leave the body once someone dies. Hogarth explains that he believes the giant could have a soul, as it cares about people and is self-aware. He also says that people often have dreams when they sleep. In this scene, that was originally deleted but added to the updated and more recent signature version of the film, we see that the giant is sleeping and is having a dream, which could be possibly a memory or a vision as well. The giant dreams of himself as part of an army of Iron Giants that are equipped with many advanced weapons as they go around destroying alien cities and their planets. Dean is also able to see this on his television, but is unsure if it's real or if he too is dreaming. They both wake up, worried at what they have seen, but go back to sleep after a while. When Hogarth returns home late, he is kidnapped by Agent Mansley, who has been staying at the Hughes' home as a lodger. While he is investigating the giant, with photos Hogarth has taken of him and the giant, as well as the constant away from home, Mansley knows he's hiding the giant and demands the location. Hogarth refuses at first, but gives in when threatened that his mother would be arrested and him orphaned. When Mansley finds out the giant is in Dean's junkyard, he makes Hogarth fall asleep and places him in a now locked bedroom. Kent informs the general and army that sends them the location to meet in the morning. Not wanting Hogarth to warn Dean and the giant, Kent Mansley stays awake as long as he can, keeping an eye on Hogarth. The army arrived at Dean's junkyard, along with Agent Mansley and the Hughes, where they enter the warehouse to look for the giant. They find it with Dean's art and think it was all a child's imagination. After fooling the army, Hogarth and the giant play in the junkyard, but after confusing Hogarth's toy gun for a real one, the giant goes into defensive mode and shoots a laser beam at Hogarth without realizing, as you can see here. Dean, who sees this and saves Hogarth, shouts at the giant and sends him away. The giant leaves, upset that he almost hurt his friend, and is depressed, thinking he would never be a hero. While Hogarth runs after his friend, Dean finds that the giant couldn't help what he was doing, and was just defensive. While walking away, the giant hears two boys in trouble falling off the roof of a tall building. The giant saves them just in time, and is seen by all the townspeople, who cheer for his heroic deeds. Meanwhile, the army is still heading back to the base, but see the Iron Giant for themselves, who is now in the centre of town. As you can see here, Mansley sees it first and crashes into the others. While the townfolk and giant celebrate the safety of the fallen children and the meeting of the giant for the first time, the army arrives and shoots the giant. Hogarth, who is reunited with the giant and friends again, stays with him as they both run from the attacking army. There they find that the giant can fly after falling off a cliff, but is shot down by fighter pilots, as you can see here. After being shot down by the planes and crash landing, the giant wakes up and sees Hogarth unconscious. Thinking the boy died, the giant gets enraged and activates his war mode and all his sci-fi weapons, as you can see here. The film ends with a hopeful ending, where Screw from the Giants is found by the army, and it starts beeping and moving on its own. Hogarth watches it leave with a smile, knowing his friend is repairing itself, which we get to see as we transported to the North Pole, where more parts are moving towards a happy, smiling Iron Giant head. And the beeping that started the film ends it, but this time with a more hopeful meaning. And with that, the end of the film arrives. So I hope you all enjoyed and consider watching the film yourself. Perhaps you may love it as much as I did. Once again, if you'd like to, you can watch it with Netflix and Amazon Prime, or rent it on those platforms, as well as Google Play or YouTube. Now for the final review and conclusion. The Iron Giant sweet and memorable story that most people can enjoy. It's a mixture of action, comedy, and sincere moments, with moral lessons hidden within, without being too obvious or gory. The animation and scenes in the film are beautiful. Voice acting has many talented actors, most of whom are celebrities and professionals. So that ends this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. This video took a few good weekends to make, and I love that I could learn more about one of my favourite films. And if you would like to learn more about it, check out the links in the description, leading you to the sites I found during researching, as well as the links to the clips used. If you enjoyed or learned something new, it would be great if you could click the like button. If you wish to see more film reviews or content, check out the film review playlists or my gaming videos. To hear about new videos we publish, press the subscribe button. But for now, that's everything, comrades. That's the end. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye for now, comrades.
Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down. A radiation shower will pour throughout your town. Hands over your head, keep low to the ground. Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down. Duck and cover, duck and cover. Get under the desk with your sister and your brother. Duck and cover, duck and cover. That goes double for your dad and your mother. So hands over your head, keep low to the ground. 'Cause all the kids that don't will cease to be around.